the end of the week. It's a bank holiday. In fact, it's VE Day, when half my family had to surrender to you lot. Vinesack, Drinks Coach, lowercase. If you want to contact me to ask me further questions. Today is Ask Joe Day. We have 10 questions from all of you out there who've been asking all sorts of interesting questions over the last few weeks. And my wife is going to give them to me. We've got slightly less than 10 minutes for 10 questions. Go with the first question, please, Emma.
Hi, number one. Hi Joe, I'm looking for an earthy and mineral white and I'm bored of buying Chablis. Can you please recommend another white that won't burn a hole in my pocket like Pouligny? That's from Johnny from Essex.
Okay, hi Johnny from Essex. That's a very good question, I think, because Chablis and Burgundy is getting so ludicrously expensive. So just to explain what Chablis tastes like, then we can think about things that will replace it. Chablis is quite creamy and rich in the mouth, but it's very dry and it has a steely minerality to it, and it's not blousy and fruity. I think that's what you mean, Johnny. So if I was drinking not Chablis, Chablis does taste the way it does because it's on very, very dense chalk called Kimmeridgian chalk, which gives it this incredible sort of chalky density. So I'd go maybe volcanic. So go for a white variety called Catarato from Sicily. If you get a premium example of that, there's a large producer of that particular wine called Planeta. The Catarato from Mount Etna is utterly delicious, and it's got that hair on the back of your neck, refreshing minerality to it. Or you can go to the wines of Campania in Naples, which I have briefly mentioned a few days ago. So drink Falangina, or possibly a very minerally Albarino, which comes from Rias Baixas in the northwest of Spain. All those wines have a fleeting resemblance to good Chablis, I think. Also great value these days is you should look at the Eastern Europe countries. Try Slovenia. Slovenia has some fantastic wines. Ferment from Slovenia has an abrasing, wonderfully dry, flinty Chablis edge. Yeah.
Question 2. What French, Italian and Spanish reds, one of each, under £10 would you recommend this week? That's from Sergio in Belfast.
Oh, cool, blimey. I remember this question being answered. I think I've already answered this question, but I'm just trying to think of things that I've tasted very recently that really rocked my world. Well, if it's Spanish, I'm kind of really in love with one of the Marks and Spencer's Riojas at the moment, which is called El Duque de Muralta. Duque, as in Duke, de Muralta, Muralta. And it comes in Crianza, which is the entry one, a Reserva, and I think they even do a posher one than that. Go for the Crianza, the basic one, which is £9.50. And it was 2015 when I first tried it at Christmas, raved about it. I think we're on to 2016 now, which is a better vintage. So either vintage is great. 10 quid, fantastic wine for drinking with roast lamb or for keeping. Brilliant. Italian? Well, I've been racking my brains actually thinking about it in the back. And the only thing I can think of is the lovely wine box from Philip Schofield. I'm struggling to find good Italian wines under a tenner. If you buy a Philip Schofield wine box, it's 25 quid, so that's £8.30 a bottle. That's the best Italian red I've drunk recently, I've got to be honest, so yeah. And French, you can still buy Beaujolais for a tenner. Find some very nice Beaujolais from 2019 or 17, a little bit older. But a Beaujolais Village, the one at Waitrose is very good. I tasted a very nice one, I think, at the Co-op. And even Davies wine bars are selling a very good one, which is a little bit more. But Beaujolais, look at the weather outside. They age, they're nice with food, and they're lovely, refreshing drinks in the park.
Question 3?
Yep, we've got to crack on, haven't we?
Indeed. What is the difference between American and Scottish whisky, asks Ben via Instagram.
Well, I'll answer that question in a really annoying way, in a kind of political way. I'm going to do a piece on Scottish whisky. I'm going to do an episode on American whisky, because they're both big stories. It's World Whisky Day on the 16th of May, so I'm going to cover as much as I can other whiskies around the world, but it's made all over the place. American whiskey generally is aged for a short amount of time in newer wood, so it has more vanilla, and the vast majority of them are bourbon style, which means they're made from 51% corn, sweet corn maize, where Scottish whisky is aged in old wood for longer and is usually made from barley. That's pretty much the difference.
Number 4, if you were to buy a vineyard, where would it be? From Cara in London.
I thought about this a lot in my life. I think everyone in the wine trade does. It's got to be somewhere which I like. I've thought about Mallorca, because the wines there are very good, unknown, and there's beautiful valley of wineries there, and I just love the island, I love the city. I also love Oporto, and I think I would love to have a white wine vineyard or a red wine vineyard in the Douro Valley, or possibly just south in Barada or Dow. I think Portugal. I've always had an affinity for Portuguese people. I love it there. Yep.
Perfect. Number 5. Is it worth investing in grape-specific wine glasses, or should I just get good quality glasses that are more generic? From Jennifer in South West London.
Jennifer in South West London. I referred you back to episode 1 of the Drinks Coach UK. Look through these. If we find the first episode, I talk about glassware. Just put in glassware Drinks Coach UK, and it'll come up on YouTube. I think there's a kind of a happy marriage between the two. You don't need a set of glasses for every grape variety, although some producers of glasses might have you believe that. But at the same time, take your glasses seriously. I think you need a glass for Pinot Noir style drinks, you need a glass for Bordeaux style drinks, you need a glass for oaked whites, you need a glass for unoaked whites, and a decent flute. That's your 5 premium glasses.
Question 6. Who would win in an arm wrestle, you or Oz Clarke? This is from James via Twitter.
He's got a stinging forehand in tennis. He can play very good tennis. And I think when I first met Oz back in the late 80s, early 90s, he'd probably have me for breakfast. But I reckon I'd have him now. Yeah, it'd be me.
Number 7. What are your thoughts on fortified sparkling sweet wines being used in cocktails? That's from Mark in London.
I have a real love for putting wine into cocktails. It's such a complex ingredient, and for 2 reasons. First of all, if you add wine to a cocktail, most of the other ingredients are very high in alcohol, so adding wine to cocktails generally reduces the level of alcohol. If you replace a spirit with, let's say, port or sherry, they're lower in alcohol. You're actually making a less intense, a less mental drink. So actually, it's a very, very good way to be more moderate and to add lots of layers of complexity to your drink. And of course, champagne cocktails. I mean, where would you be without them? I love them.
Number 8. What is the most underrated wine in the world? From Mike via Instagram.
I claimed, I might as well be consistent about this. I claimed about 4 or 5 days ago that it was sherry, and I'll stick by that. You can still buy sherry for £11, which is a wine made from 50 different vintages that's been aged this and that, and it's just, I think in terms of sheer kind of the panoply, the cornucopia of flavour that you get in a sherry, I think it's hard to say that anything can beat that. I think currently at the moment, if you're buying South African wines, the quality has just reached this incredible fever pitch, and even ordinary South African wines are vastly better than they were 10 years ago. So South Africa, and also I would go to places like Slovenia, Montenegro, Croatia, Northern Macedonia as it is now.
Number 9, slightly different. Do you agree Timothy Taylor's consistently produce the finest ales available to humanity? That's from Tim on Instagram.
Tim on Instagram. I don't know if I know this, Tim. It's a bold statement. But I used to drive 45 minutes from this very flat just to drink a pint of Timmy Taylor's Golden Best in the Canton Arms in a rush hour. I'm finding it hard to disagree with you. If I was going to drink one of the great bitters in Britain, Timmy Taylor's makes them, really. I think since Madonna was known to have a barrel of Landlord in her front room, I'm not sure if that was Guy Ritchie's idea or hers. I love Golden Best. It's the best session ale, best session bitter. But there are many others. Other brands available. Yeah.
And finally, number 10. My mum and dad love Carmenere and Rioja. Can you recommend a brand of each to drink now and to put down for special occasions? And that's from Andy in Cambridge.
Andy in Cambridge. Is that Andy Knott? Shout out. Somebody that we made friends with in a local pub in Cambridge a few years ago. And shout out to your lovely parents. Right, so Carmenere and Rioja.
A brand of each to drink now and to put down for special occasions. Okay,
so you want to? I would happily tell you a wine which you can put down for a few years and it will get better, but you can drink now and vice versa. So one drink that does both in each case. So, if I remember that this current vintage, I think it's 2018, of a wine called Marqués de Casa Concha. You might have come across in Chile a wine. It's the world's largest wine brand now, called Casillero del Diablo. Outside this country, they promote Manchester United. So they're vast, they're huge, and they're part of a larger company called Concha y Toro. Casillero del Diablo is one range, and above it is a smarter range, which retails for around the 10, maybe slightly more pounds mark. Marqués de Casa Concha Carmenere. It's got 10% Cabernet in it as well. But Marques de Casa Concha Carmenere, to my knowledge, was the only Carmenere at the International Wine Challenge this year, which I judged, to get a gold medal. And when I tasted that, I thought it was absolutely amazing. Looked it up, couldn't believe that it's made in reasonably large quantities and is available everywhere. So just put that into your Google Finder, and someone in Cambridge will be selling it. Maybe Cambridge Wine Merchants, Mel No Young, maybe something like that. Anna Rioja. I've mentioned El Duque de Maralta from Marks and Spencer's already. That wine is just flipping delicious. If you buy the 15 or 16 vintage, the wine is lovely now. Give it an hour in a vase if you have to, if you don't have a jug. Oh, beer. So I'll come on to that in a minute. Yeah, you can either lay that down for 4 or 5 years and it will improve, or drink it with your Sunday roast. Fantastic. Yeah, shout out to Hofmeister. Thanks for the lockdown drinks. Got to give a good German Helles a bit ahead. So cheers. Thanks very much.